We have some technical difficulties here. See?
For my theme song, my leather black jeans on, my by any means on, part and I'm getting my scream on. Into the kingdom, but watching you bring home. You see a black man with a white woman at the top floor, they gon' come and do King Kong. Middle America packed in, can't they see me in my black skin? Number one question they asking, what can be question you asking? If I don't get ran at my Catholics, it goes to conservative Baptists, claiming I'm overreacting like the black kids. It's your rap bitch, 4 in the morning.
Underground? What is this? This is the worst view.
Approaching Brookline Village.
Recording.
Next stop, Newton Center.
Like about life, pretty
Stop it.
it's a very simple project. Oh, okay. What do you Oh, nice, okay. Music? I lived at 1126 Wilson Street. We're right there. Yeah. We had like the Berkeley thing in the basement. Do you want to just clip this on? Do you want to? Like just on the shirt. Yeah. Yeah. It's close enough. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. By the way. I won't ask anything too much. Yeah, it's fine. It will happen. Yeah. Okay. So, what do you do for work?
I cannot work here because I'm an international student, but back then when I came to States, I was very pleasant in Germany and like gigs.
Okay. So what do you think of like the world in 10 years? What do you think the future's going to look like?
Unfortunately, it will be more and more technological, which I don't like because I like authenticity.
Okay.
I don't like the direction so much.
Okay. I agree kind of, but that's
Change here for bus
like science and tech
connections.
advances.
I mean, those are amazing, but for example, what happens now with AI, I think it kills the creativity in certain ways. That's why I think it's really dangerous.
The destination of this train is Union Square.
Yeah.
Or arts, for instance.
Yeah, I was gonna say like as those things are getting smarter, do you think it's making life better or worse? I think.
It depends on how.
Stand clear of the closing doors.
Okay. Like if you had to predict, what jobs do you think are safe? Like. Yeah.
Although I complain about, for example, AI affecting arts in a negative way, I still believe that arts could stay in a similar way that it is as now, because all arts change.
Next stop,
Because
Chestnut
creative
Hill.
stuff.
Yeah, it's very personal. I don't think it's really impossible to do.
Okay. So like I feel like what do you think of social media? I feel like you probably don't use it a lot.
I use it a lot actually.
Oh really?
Because
Okay.
for us it's so necessary to promote ourselves and continue story, especially like for musicians, for artists, for actors. I use it a lot. I think it's nice. But maybe the amount that we involve in our personal life is really important because that damages a lot of stuff.
It's too
Some
personal.
personal relationships
Okay.
damage. There is a damage.
Okay. Where do you get your news? Your news? Where do you?
My news?
Yeah.
Usually from like websites that pop up automatically.
Oh, okay. Just
I
right now.
don't even intend to like go and see something. They just pop up.
Okay. Do you think like most people overall, if you had to, guess overall in the world, are good or bad?
Bad.
Bad? Really?
But animals are amazing.
Okay.
Dogs are amazing.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs? No, you don't like
I
cats?
mean, cats are nice,
Okay.
but they really have personality. So it depends on which cat are we talking about.
Okay, right.
My cat is a really bad parent.
Oh, you have a cat?
Yeah, like home like this.
Okay.
But for example, here I have one that has amazing
city. Okay, what do you think of like the new minimalist architecture?
I like it. Even before moving to here, I wanted to live in a small loft, like very small one, like a studio, that I can use the upper floor for my personal space and the basement for my studio that I already have. It's nice, but I'm living in suburbs, they want it.
Okay. So you always wanted to live in the city? Okay, nice. Good. Cool. Thank you so much for taking the time. Yeah. Well, why did you decide to do the interview? Like, well, you could say no. You know, what is
How did I decide?
Yeah.
You guys asked and I thought like, okay, why not?
Cool.
So you can like,
That's very nice.
yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Really
What's it
quick
about?
while you wait for your train. Just about life.
We're going this way, yeah. Sorry.
No worries.
Sorry.
Have a good one. Okay. So, shit. That was just like L after L after L after L after L. So, shit. What do you guys do for work?
I'm a lawyer.
A lawyer? Okay.
I'm a medical social worker.
Okay. Well, from your experience, do you guys think most people in the world are good or bad?
I'd like to say good.
I say good.
Yeah.
You say good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to say good.
Okay. And like, where do you think the world will be in 10 years? Like, any predictions for the future?
That's a huge question.
Yeah. Just anything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in terms of movies, how the world's going, news.
I mean, I'd like, I don't know, the environment's kind of freaking me out right now. I would like everybody to be a little more conscious about that.
Okay.
Using green energy and everything.
Right. Okay.
And then, as a social worker, like social determinants of health, like I'd like those to be a little more equalized.
Okay. And do you guys live in the city or the suburbs of Boston?
Suburbs, like right over there.
A little bit
Kind of around the line.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you guys think that like in the city, do you guys think that there's any kind of disparity between the neighborhoods? Because recently there's been a thing about life expectancy in like Back Bay versus Dorchester. Do you think that has like there's any kind of like inequalities like that throughout Boston?
I 100%. Yeah. I'd say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you guys so much. That was my last question. I really appreciate it, guys.
Totally.
Do you think that the majority of people in the world are good or bad?
They have both of them, I think.
Both? A little bit of both?
Yeah, if they are aware of it, they may try to correct it. If something is evil in them, I think they may try.
Okay.
But the problem is that they're not even aware of it.
Okay. You think most people don't know if they're good or bad?
Right.
Okay. They just kind of live.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think like makes people very different from each other? You know what I mean? Like what do you think makes personalities different?
It may be ancestry.
Ancestry?
Yeah.
So genetics?
Yeah.
Okay. Mainly genetic based. And what do you think of like technology and how, you know, that's becoming more popular in society? Social media, technology is getting more advanced. How do you think that affects the youth and just the people? Do you think technology and social media is good or bad?
I think it's good because, it's like an extension of our brain. We don't have enough brain, we want more. Why not?
Okay. You think we always want more
Right.
knowledge? More knowledge?
Yeah, that could be a problem because then if you put greed into it, it may complicate things.
Do you think we have too much greed in
Yes.
America?
No, everywhere.
Everywhere in the world.
Human have greed.
Okay.
And I think there is precise reasons for that, but it's just me.
Okay. So I saw somewhere that humans are pretty much like 99.9% identical, like in terms of DNA.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think then like some people become good, some people become bad?
Well, they have to make an effort. If they are aware of what our good can bring, they will try to beat that way.
Okay. And lastly, Trump or Biden?
I am politically illiterate, but I like Biden.
Okay. Fair.
I like him very much.
You're not too into politics. You don't.
No,
You don't follow it and stuff.
No,
Okay.
I like it that he was with Obama. Just for that alone, I think it's very good.
Okay. Cool. Fair enough. Thank you so much for taking the time. I
Sure.
really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Cool. Thank you. So, what do you do for work?
Just for a student.
Okay. Cool. And on average, do you think most people like in the world are good or bad?
good. I think it's good.
Okay, you think there's a lot of good in this world? Okay, and you know, if there are aliens out here in this world, like, what do you think they think of us?
think about that. I brought some edibles.
I'm not sure actually. Never think about that, but maybe.
Like right at like not long after for the first time, and I was like,
Maybe they will think us as a strange person and they did something strange, sometimes and for no reasons.
Yeah. Okay. How much time would you say that you spend on your phone?
and my best friend also bring up
Average per day, we'll say at least 12 hours.
12 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
So a decent amount.
Yeah.
And would you say that like social media is good or bad, like overall?
I'm neutral for this one because it does have the good thing and also has the bad
It's
thing.
like a double-edged sword kind
Yeah,
of.
yes.
Okay, cool. And last question, because I know you're trying to come in. What's your biggest fear in life?
In my life, can't find a job.
Finding a job?
Yeah.
Not being able to find a job, I guess.
Yeah, when I graduate.
Okay.
Yeah, right now, that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, that's a pretty reasonable fear. Fair.
Yeah, because my parents pay a lot for the tuition, and if you
Right.
can't find a job,
Right. Sure. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
your turn.
So you guys live in the city, right?
yes.
Okay. What do you think of like the new buildings, like the minimalist design,
For me, I took
like kind of like the more modern?
I personally I do not like them.
You don't like it?
Mostly I feel like especially for Boston, like as we see all the like new things coming out, I feel like we're losing all the ideas of like the old traditional like the brownstone, like that kind of like street style, and it's just like instead it's just all like washed out, just like windows, and just like a flat wall,
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
thing. So
yeah.
and just like white color, just like a simple color with no like decorations or like extra like furnishing. So I don't really like it. I mean, I understand why, because like they need more space for everyone to live in the city, so they might need to have like lose some like beautiness of the beauty, but I prefer like the old traditional style.
Okay. Yeah, you like it with more details and stuff. Okay. And what's one person in this world you think that this world couldn't live without? I know I just said world like twice in 2 seconds, but
Wow.
But it really, it is.
Well,
Like, I remember there was.
actually,
I was trying not to.
one person.
yeah. Or I guess like pretty much in other words, like who's like one person you couldn't live without?
Well, it's definitely like my family, like my mom or my grandpa.
Okay.
Because like I feel everyone they have like they all come from like a really they all like from a family, and they definitely have someone in their family that they really cherish or love about. So I feel like losing them is could be like the biggest hit for me, and that's like something like my biggest fear is like I'm fear of losing like my family or like that. So I feel like if I leave them, they just left my life. I couldn't see the reason of me like staying.
Right. No, that makes sense. That's totally fair. What last question? What annoys you? Like, what's the most annoying thing for you when someone does?
Anything.
Yeah, like.
They're like basically I really do not appreciate when people try to like look down on me.
Look down. Okay.
Especially because I'm from like I'm a STEM major, and especially I have to say there's still a lot of like discrimination towards like girls like majoring in STEM, especially in the computer science.
Okay.
So I do receive like a lot of comments before I declare my major. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do CS, and then he was like, you? I was like, oh, I don't think like that's wrong.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I was like, really? I was like, okay, but yeah, and also I do remember like going to office hours and stuff like that, and like going to like a tech, just like a fair or something, and all the guys just blocked my names. I was like, why is it all guys? Then I remember this guy turned around to me and looked at me because it's tech. Then I was like, damn, I was like, damn, bro, I'm just like, oh, chill, like I'm trying to involve in this all.
Okay. So people underestimating you pretty much.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah. I didn't really even know much about that, but I have heard a little bit about it.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, just yeah.
Yeah. So especially in STEM, like all like engineers.
Do you think it happens more in STEM than other fields?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate
I
it.
hope this was helpful.
We're back.
Okay.
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 Cool.
Okay.
We
Okay,
can.
well, just get back to, we can just go back to the CITGO sign, the story of the building and the
Okay,
CITGO
well,
sign.
this is something that I want to tell to your audience because I know it will resonate there in Boston because I think it was in 2016 or maybe 2017, beginning of 2017. You know, the owner of the building, I think was the university where the sign is. They sold the property. They sold to a real estate company from Chicago, New York. I don't recall, but this guy was going to turn down that sign because they said that they didn't want it. So we went there with some guys, and this guy began to negotiate, and this guy were asking a lot of money to keep it. So I went to Venezuela to PDVSA, that is the board, and because all this political thing that was going on, they said, take that thing out. And so we literally was gonna lose the sign. And there was a guy in Boston that began a campaign. You can look at him, go to Facebook for that time frame. He began a campaign and he began to, to talk to the people that they cannot be loose. So there was like a mass movement to keep the sign.
Yeah.
And we went with this guy and finally the sign was declared as a landmark. So today the sign is a landmark. But this was a kind of a people movement, to keep the sign. So this is a cool story about that.
No, the people of Boston will can definitely come together,
They came together. This guy, if you go to Facebook, because he did a campaign in Facebook, go to Facebook 2016 or beginning of 2017, and you will see that guy. I don't recall his name, but this guy supported us a lot because he did like a public campaign and began to call the people and he created like a movement to don't let that sign go on. And at the end, it became a landmark. So so the sign is there. Every time I see the baseball games, I see the sign there.
Yeah. I actually lived right by Fenway Park in college just a few years ago, so I would see the sign like right from my window. And
so I was the guy that didn't get that sign go up because let me tell you, the guys of PDVSA, for them, they will love the sign. They didn't care.
Right. Yeah.
So going back to our stuff, being in CITGO, of course, the audience that don't know them, we went through this political situation that was going on at that moment, and unfortunately, we were caught in the middle of that situation. What we call today the hostage diplomacy, that is basically this dispute between two countries. In this case, was U.S. imposing sanctions in Venezuela, and they took us in the middle, and then we became the political pawns, the bargain chip, and that situation lasted for 5 years. So we came back last year through this prisoner swap that was done in October 1st. We're going to be barely 1 year in 1 month. It's going to be our first year. So I can tell you, 1 year, I'm done a lot. Going back to my stuff, I'm doing a lot because I begin to do first this strong advocacy for the hostage community. I can humbly saying that I became like a reference in the community because I have been very vocal. I have done a lot of articles, interviews. Today I have my LinkedIn. I have a newsletter where I talk about this. I'm doing podcasts like this, promoting it. I'm invited to an event, as I said, next 2 weeks. In September 18th, there's going to be a big event in New York in the frame of the UN General Assembly. There's an organization called Hostage Aid Worldwide that they basically take care of hostages all over the world. So these guys are going to do this event in New York, and they're inviting people, former hostages. They are coming from UK, Australia, Belgium, France, Philippines, and we and another guys. 3 of our CITGO 6 are going to be there in that event. We confirmed 3 of us. So it's going to be a very nice event because it's going to be kind of to amplify, to raise the awareness on this situation of that hostage. Unfortunately, the last time we talked, it's become even worse because now there is a journalist of Wall Street Journal that when we talked was not there. Now he's in Russia. He's kept in Russia. There's a
Okay.
guy. So there have been some severe negotiation among 4 of our guys of our campaign that are in Iran. That has not been materialized. So for the audience that are not aware, we have our family campaign that is called the Bring Our Family Home campaign, where a bunch of families that are gathering together. When I talk with you, we haven't unveiled the mural of Houston. Today, we unveiled a mural here in the Westheimer Road here in Houston with 15 faces of guys that are still left behind in our campaign. So we have been doing a lot in that area. And I began my coaching program where, by the way, I'm kind of giving risk assessment for people that are traveling abroad. This is basically what I'm doing. And I also begin my public speaking talking about this. I have a speech that is called From Captivity to Freedom. 2 days ago, I came from Dallas. We had a big event in Dallas. And I'm going to do this in New York. I have another one in Austin. So I've been beginning to do speaking. Basically, all my stuff is gravitating around this thing, and my book. My book that is not only my kind of my memoir. If the people are not aware, the way I wrote my book, being in jail in the first year, I could begin to smuggle letters with my wife, and when I came back, I remember I mentioned that to you. My wife has compiled this kind of 1,000 letters, and she put it in Word. And basically, that is the essence of the book. That those letters that we wrote during that time, but it has been a journey because the editor put me to work a lot because the letters were done in a way that was like a diary, and at some point, I stopped writing letters because the last year being there, the negotiations were going on, so they began to give us phone calls. So I decided to stop the letters. So I had like a lag in that time, so I had to update on that information. That is the thing that really stopped publishing the book before, but the timing is perfect for me because we're going to begin this market campaign. We're going to begin a pre-sale of the book because the book is going to be out for the first anniversary. It's going to be out for October 1st. This is something. Another thing that I can tell you here, I can announce that I'm very pleased that my book is going to get the support of this hostage community. And part of my proceed of the book is gonna be, I'm gonna give a donation to them because this organization has been so wonderful with me. So when I did, I was thinking, I think this is the way I can give up to them. So I thought, of course, I had to have the authorization of each of them. Today, I have there's a bunch of organizations that advocate for the hostage community, and I can mention it here. We have the Hostage USA. There is an organization that gives support to the family and to the hostage when you return. I can tell you, Sam, they have been wonderful with me. All the care they have, physically, mentally, all the therapies, all this stuff. Going back to normal, they help you a lot. This is Hostage USA. There is another foundation called the Foley Legacy Foundation. They also give great support, but one of the key things with the Foley Legacy Foundation is they are very connected to the government, trying to change legislation. So they're kind of a big lobbyist to change law to make things better for the hostage community. So they do a great job in that area. There is this organization. They're going to have the gala in New York that is called Hostage Aid Worldwide. They're basically more broad. Their scope is more the world, all the hostages around the world. So it's huge. And this organization has something really great. That the board of the organization, all are former hostages from every part of the world. So they have people from every part of the world that have been hosted are part of the board. So it's great the work they do. And there is two more. There is a Richardson Center that I'm not going to donate to them because there is something they have for their from the legal point of view, one of the big things that Richardson Center does is that they never accept money from the families. It's kind of their principles. So when I came with them, they said, Jose, I would love it. We cannot do this. And let me tell you, for me, having the support of them, because I still have the support of them, but of course, they're not going to be part of the donation because of that. But no problem, because we have wonderful communication with them. But here I want to say that unfortunately, 3 days ago, the president of the foundation passed away. That was the governor, Bill Richardson. He passed away. Wow. Yeah, he passed away 3-4 days ago. Was a big loss. Even the president put a public statement. He was a personality. I don't know if you're aware, but the governor Richardson, he was like, I don't know, like 4 times governor in New Mexico. He was like 30 years in the Congress. He was energy ministry. He was the chair in the UN of the ambassador in the UN for the US. So he was a guy that served all his life to the country. And when he retired, he decided to put this wonderful organization. And their job is something that people maybe are not aware, but they do a lot of diplomacy. They're like that invisible tentacles that make things happen. That is what their job. And it's so remarkable. The person that works with him, that I think is going to take his share, is a guy called Mickey Berman. This is a wonderful guy. These 2 guys, for me, when I learned that Governor Richardson passed away, my family put a public statement, because he really worked a lot to release us when we were there in Venezuela. And he has done a lot for another former hostage. And they do it very quietly. They never appear in nothing. They never appear in nothing. So, but they do this great job. So, well, all these foundations are going to be part of my book. The people that are going to purchase my book are going to give 30% of the proceeds to support the foundation. So this is something that I'm very pleased, because I think this is the way I can give up to them. They have supported me and all the hostage community. So it's great, the job they do. So I wanted to say that.
No, yeah, of course. That's amazing that you're giving back the 30% to them. And I was wondering, actually, I was going to ask you, how do you, is it like to the public? Is it open to the public, that event in New York? Or can you buy tickets?
Well, yes and no. It's going to be public. So if somebody wants to go, only what have to do is contact me. So it's going to be because we're going to tie the 2 events. The first is going to be the event that hosted 8. That is public, because I can send you the link if you want to. Anybody can register there. Yes.
Yeah. I'll include it in this.
Yeah. By the way, I posted today in my LinkedIn. Anybody that wants to go to my LinkedIn account today, I posted about the event in LinkedIn and in Facebook, and I put the link to get registered. So that is going to be public. That event, let me tell you, Sam, is going to be amazing, because I'm going to send it to you so you can see what is going to be talked about. So the name of the event is Battling the Hostage Diplomacy. That is the name of the event. For me, this is a wonderful name, because I have been talking extensively about battling the hostage diplomacy, because this situation of hostage is something that has to stop, because every time more and more countries that have problems with the US, with UK, with Australia, with any big country. They use this like a diplomacy tool, and it's a very perverse tool, because they're using human beings.
Yeah, it's inhumane. Yeah,
it's a crime.
Yeah,
it's a crime. So we have been talking since I came back that this has become kind of a national security issue, and this should be raised to the UN level. And for me, it was a surprise when I was invited to this event that's going to be in the UN. So it's going to be amplified, the awareness, because they're trying even to bring to that event people from the UN. They're going to be in town. So the event is going to be great, because it's going to be in the middle of the UN. It's going to be with Resonate. They're going to be coming important people to that event, and if it gets amplified to the UN, would be great. Would be great.
Yeah.
So that event, as I said, I'm gonna send you the link. Anybody can register and attend it. Yeah, the one that we're gonna launch the book is gonna be more private, because it's gonna be a private invitation, and it's gonna be kind of a cocktail, and there's gonna be some press, but it's more private. That is more private, and I'm gonna be promoting it after that in my social medias, and the editor, and the name is Publicizer. They're gonna be publicizing it. So this is gonna be the two events that are gonna be involved in this week. The one with the hosted aid worldwide, and the launching of the marketing of the book. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, it sounds exciting. Both events sound fun. I'll include both those links and everything, all the information. I'll put it on the screen and in the
Correct.
description
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Anybody that want to go, they just can contact me or go directly to the links and register itself. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And so going back to the book, for me, this is a big milestone, because the way I wrote the book, Sam, is not only talking my story. Of course, I have to tell it, because the story is the story. The story is the story, and the letters are the letters, and whatever happened is going to be there. But for me, the book is the most important is the legacy. After that, because the way I wrote the book is trying to give the message to the people that even that you go under any adversity, you can overcome it and do something that really are meaningful, like what I'm doing today. I'm not saying, and I want to be very, very accurate with this. I'm not saying that I came back and everything is perfect. No, because this is a healing process. And by the way, my first version of the book was a very big book, was like a Bible, was like a 400-page book. And one of the things that the editor decided is to split in 3 books. So it's going to be like kind of a trilogy, the book.
Okay.
It's going to be kind of a trilogy. So the second book, because this is going to be my story of the CITGO 6. Then I'm going to talk about, in the second book, more about the legacy of how you overcome it and navigate all this situation after you come that is terrible to me. Okay. And the third book is going to be more to my personal story, because I had the particularity that I come from a 3rd to a 4th generation of oil workers in Venezuela. I have more than 100 years of story in my family, and so I'm going to try to tell my story tied to the Venezuelan story of the oil production, the rise and the fall of the unfortunate fall that today is happening with the oil industry in Venezuela. But the second book that talking about the legacy is the one that I emphasize in my first book at the end, because I tied it to the legacy, because I believe that this is the real message that people have to get. What you get after this, and I want that the people walk away when finish the book with a sense that you really can overcome any adversity, and even it's not easy to handle, because one of the big issue is your healing process, because you went through so much that I have learned it since almost this year. It's like there are days that there are events that you didn't know that they were there. It began to trigger to you. For example, I'm gonna give you 2 simple examples that I discovered after coming back. When we were there, one of the things that they always was doing to us was locking us, and when they locked it, they did a big noise with passing the locks. That noise today, every time I hear that noise, it triggers me something.
Oh, it's like a
Another thing they did a lot. They were always yelling to you in here, yelling and yelling. Today, when I hear somebody talking loudly here, so there are things that now I discover there is a process that is, and my therapist said, Jose, this is normal. You're going through that process. So any that has gone through this process has maybe some can handle it better. Some can handle it not so better. I believe I have been handled it very good, but that doesn't mean that it's not being a process. And also the suffering of the family. When you come back, you can understand how has been all the process of the suffering of the family is immense. You cannot imagine that all the process. So this is something that is not only coming back, it's all the process to reinsert yourself in the society, rebuild the relations with your family, put together the broken pieces that are around is terrible. And I'm talking about me, but I know that if anybody that has gone through this process, they hear me, will have the same thing. Because one of the things that today I understand, because we're connected with this community. Like 3 months ago, we went to an event in Washington where all the family went, and there was a breakfast. During, by the way, it was hosted by the Hosted USA Foundation. They did a breakfast, invited all these families. When I begin to hear all the stories, the wives, the husbands, because there are some ladies, the husband, the kids talking, and I heard each story. It was not only was heartbreaking, it was that it resonated so much because the stories are so similar. Because the suffering is the same, no matter where you are. You can be in China, you can be in whatever, but the suffering is the same. So this is something that I want to emphasize in the book, how that process go and the legacy to overcome it, because I want that the people really get the sense that okay, this guy went through all this stuff and look how he has gone to do it. So if he can do it, I can do it, because I will always tell that to the people. If I could do this, you can do that, because it's matter of having your proper mindset, having the mindset, and it's by choice. This is something that always is by choice. It's like a personal decision how you decide to overcome your adversity.
Yeah, you seem to be handling it well and reacting to the adversity well. Your mindset seems to be solid. Because you mentioned that your father, correct me if I'm wrong, was also in the oil industry.
My father and my grandfather.
Yeah, so 3 generations.
And my son. So we are 4 generations. So we are 4 generations. Let me tell you how began my story. That, as I said in my first version of my book, I was telling the story, but it was so big that it was difficult to read. So that's what we decided to split. But my personal story begins 100 years ago, when my grandfather came from Netherlands, because the production of the oil in Venezuela began in the 20s, in 1920s, 1910, 1920s. So there were a lot of foreign companies coming there, and one of the company was the Royal Dutch Shell, today Shell. Okay, and my grandfather came with that company. So he came from Netherlands with the Royal Dutch Shell. He landed in the Maracaibo Lake, and he met my grandmother, that she was native Venezuelan, and they put together, and then came in my mom. So my dad was another family of oil production that met my mom, and my dad was one of the pioneers in the Venezuelan production back in the 60s. When in the 60s, all the international companies were working in Venezuela. There was a guy that at the end he became one of the founders of the OPEC. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the founders of the OPEC. That guy was the boss of my dad.
Oh wow.
Okay. So he put several engineers together, young engineers, and sent it here to the U.S. to the Tulsa University to get trained to because they want to go. His thought was that at some point, this American and foreign company will be replaced by Venezuelans. So one of the guys was my dad. So that's why I came from. And then when I was graduated, I took the opportunity to go. And by the way, at the end, I work in the same company that the nationalized the first time. I was in the second time. It's like a story that has been repeating in my family. So I learned that after being in my captivity, I had a lot of time to think about it, and I began to go back and go back, and I saw all that story. I said, Jose, you have to tell this story because my story is so tied to the evolution of and the rise and the fall of the production of oil in Venezuela. Remember, Venezuela 30, 40 years ago was the fifth economy in the oil production in the world, and PDVSA was the fifth. And today, I don't know in which place it is. Maybe it's in the 200,000. I don't know. It's totally screwed up, that company. But at some point was a very big company, very, very reputable. So, and I was in that company. I grew up in that company. So that's part of the legacy. That's going to be my third book talking about that. So because I have already written. So only we decided to split it. But the story is there. So this book is more related to the story of what is the CITGO 6, the situation that happened with us, all the political thing that was happening at that moment, and how that affected, unfortunately, us, and how we came back after that.
So that I wanted to ask why I asked about your father and grandfather. How was your childhood? Was it a good upbringing, or middle class, upper class? How were you, like, when you had to go to jail for 5 years? It seems like you had a very strong mindset. Like, how, if you were, you know what I mean, like, that had to have, like, what kind of upbringing, I guess, did you have? Was there anything that, did you have like a rougher upbringing that trained you for this kind of mentality, or is there something that prepared you?
Wow, this is a so clever question, because today I'm still thinking on that. Because let me tell you, I grew up, as I told you, my father was assigned to the Tulsa University when I was 5 years. So I came to the US with my father when I was 5 years. I stayed there like I was 12. So when my father was transferred to Venezuela back, I grew up in an oil field called San Tome that was very American, because there was the Gulf Oil Company was who that was a close neighborhood only for the Gulf oil workers. I grew up there. Very American tradition. We celebrated Thanksgiving, Easter, 4th of July. We were living in Venezuela in a piece of U.S. in there.
Yeah. So it was pretty nice.
I grew up that way. My elementary school was in English. Everything was in English. So that was the way I grew up. When I came to after the high school, I went to the university. From day one, I began to work in PDVSA. And let me tell you, I have a wonderful career. I did a wonderful career. I did a non-stop 35 years career.
Well,
and at the end of my career, to tell you the truth, Sam, I had everything. I was in the pinnacle of my career, having everything. So when this situation happened to me, to tell you the truth, today I don't understand how we decided to manage the way we managed, because I could have gone in a total depression, because what means having everything today and tomorrow losing everything. People commit suicide.
Yeah.
I remember in 98 the financial crisis and 2008 financial crisis, people jumping from the building because
yeah.
And by the way, I saw being there in captivity, people hanging themselves. I saw these cases. I don't know if we were prepared. I don't know if it was matter of mindset. I'm a guy that this is something that I have been thinking really about it, and that, by the way, is part of my coaching program today, because I learned that I'm a guy that always had a positive mindset. It's something that is in my nature. It's nothing studied. It's something that I'm not that way. Okay, so that helped me a lot. But another thing that I think was key in all this point is that we did a strong bond of 6, and the 6 we had something that I don't know, it was the hands of God, but we had kind of a pattern among the 6. All of us were 6 guys with successful careers. All of us we had long-term marriage. All of us has wonderful families supporting us. So it was not a divorced guy talking with a 3 marriage guy. No. We were steady, so for us was really easy to talk about this because was like a bond. Was really a strong bond. And at some point we got together, and that, by the way, I narrate that in the book how we did it, and we decided we created like a plan. Literally, we decided at some point when we went to the survivor mode, we passed our switch. I remember that day. What was funny because we did like a board meeting, the 6 in that room, debating how we were gonna do the plan. And let me tell you, Sam, we did that plan, and that plan we lasted doing it almost for 4 years. Decided to when we created the plan, we stick to that plan on a daily basis during 4 years. And we had a plan keeper. One of our guys was a plan keeper. He was always checking that the people didn't deviate of the plan. So we really did it that way. I can tell you very easy. In the morning, we had 3 bunk beds because it was a very tiny room. So we decided that the order that each was gonna eat because we had a tiny table. So I was the first. I woke up at 5:30, 6 a.m. So I woke up. We had like a tiny fridge. We had some frozen food, and we put it in a small micro that we had there. So I took my breakfast, put it in the micro, and I sit down to eat. Alone, nobody was bothering me. I was alone, eating in the solace of there. When I finished, I went to my bed. They came the other, and then came the other, and came the other, and we do it like, let's say, like during 3 hours. When we finished, it began to the cleaning session. Everybody had one day to clean. Everybody knew when had to clean. So, for example, we had to clean. Nobody told me nothing. I knew I had to clean that day. So the other were in the bed. I was cleaning. Cleaning. It was the pandemic. We were really sanitizing everything. We finished the cleaning. It was kind of noon. Became the lunch session. So we did the same thing on the lunch. Now you're like that 3 p.m. And then we begin to read because we had book by the moment, tons of book. Everybody was reading. Sorry, I forget the exercise. The exercise was funny because one guy was in a corner doing static running. The other was with doing like some thing. The other was doing like a cardio. The other was doing yoga. Everybody was in this tiny room we looked like hamster doing things, okay? So they came the reading. You saw everybody, and a total silence, no noise, total silence. Everything was always in total silence. You never heard no noise there. If somebody had a radio, put your earplugs. Total silence. And then you were reading, and then you were writing, and then came the shower. We didn't have running water. So one of the guys, we had like 2 tanks that was filled up every 2 or 3 days. One of our guys, he calculated how much water you can take in a day. So he calculated 15 liters of water. That is like 7 gallons. Okay, so literally we had that measure of water per day, no more, no less. That one. If somebody took more, hey, stick to the plan. And then at that point, we were like at 5 p.m. So we decided we created some domino pieces with paper. We were playing domino. we were playing domino, and then it came like 7, 8 a.m. And at that moment, we began to read the Bible, pray. It was 11 p.m. And we repeated that daily basis. Let me tell you, when I read the book of Viktor Frankl, that for me was one of the thing that put me that you needed to have a purpose, and we decided to create this plan. He said that the people that survived were the one that had the purpose and created a plan. And I was talking with when I went to the trauma center, the director of the trauma center, after I came back, he was surprised the way we managed all this stuff. He really was surprised. And he told me that one of the things that we did really great was that plan. And he told me, Jose, you know what happens? This is gonna be kind of scientific. You have here something called the amygdala. Okay, that is when your body is in alert, all the influx of cortisol goes there. So when you're in danger, all goes here. So typically the people they are in that captivity always are with there. When you are doing all this stuff, you put this part of your brain to work. You turn it off and turn this off. So that way makes you that you don't get insane.
Right.
So
Okay.
literally, we were doing it. I didn't know why, but we did to do that way. And he told me that's what worked with you. So and when Viktor Frankl wrote his book in the World War II, he said exactly that the people that were doing that daily basis plan, and doing it because it had a purpose, was the one to survive. And I can tell you, once we did that plan, our days were begin to go very fast. Every day was like this. Oh, 1 week. Oh, 1 month. And that thing began to, you were not like thinking, we were all the day doing things. We didn't have time to think. We were doing and doing and doing and doing. So that's the way we handle our situation there.
Yeah, it seems like keeping busy definitely helps, but that's like the most organized, most respectful, prison experience I've ever heard, because it sounds like that's what happens when you put like 6 executives in a prison cell. I mean, it seems like you guys all had a plan, a schedule, you're measuring out the water.
We did a lot. I think that helped a lot because we were guys, we all coming from the planning. The oil and gas is an industry that anybody that's hearing me will say that it's like a school. It's challenging because this is an environment that the market always is changing. You have to be measuring you have to be putting strategies, having the most likely scenario. You always have been doing that. So in some way, our mind was kind of trained to do that. But nobody's trained to go to this. This is something that can help. This is another thing that today I say. The adversity never announced to you. When it comes, it comes. So the way you decided to handle it is a personal choice. So at some point, of course, all these things help us, but in the sense that the importance is how you decided, because nothing of this work if you are not really committed to make it work. So you need that positive mindset and there's something that has to be with the spirituality, having faith, because you have to have faith that you're gonna go out. You don't know how. Well, that I did now go to the church more frequent than I did in the past. I go every Sunday, and I have a great connection with the pastor. He always is talking about that one of the things that gives you the like a supernatural power is not thinking in the faith in God, is having the faith of God. So he said that is that very different. Not having faith in God is having the faith of God. It's different. Because normally the people say, do you have faith? Yeah, I believe in God. Period. But having the faith of God is that you don't know how, but you know that things are going to come. So that's what happened to us. We didn't know how we were going to go out, but at some point we were convinced, totally convinced that would happen. Let me tell you, at some point when we begin to have the visit of the ambassador Roger Carson from the SPIA office, for the people that doesn't know, there is an office in the attached to the Secretary of State called the SPIA, Special Presidential Office for Hostage Affairs. It's an office dedicated for hostage situation. So that's the importance that today has to the U.S. government, that is attached to the State Department. The guy that runs that office is an ambassador, Ambassador Roger Carson. So when he began to visit Venezuela 1 year before our release, we were totally convinced that we were going to be released. I told him a story that, by the way, I mentioned it in my book. That is that Winston Churchill, when the war began, back to 1940s. The U.S. was not in the war. England was totally alone, receiving bombs from Germany every day, totally destroyed. London was a disaster. All that city was a disaster. He flew to the United States to talk to Roosevelt, and he asked Roosevelt to join the war. And Roosevelt told him that he cannot do it because he didn't have he had to go to the Congress, and he didn't have the support of the people. Something similar that happened when Ukraine here. So at some point, when this guy went out, Roosevelt put his lawyers, the most remarkable people, and said, "Hey, look for a solution." And they created the act that today is that the center is used with Ukraine to support them, giving ammunitions and ships and everything. So when Roosevelt flew back when Churchill flew back to London, he did a speech in the chamber, and he said, "Guys, we won the war." And the guy said, "How we won the war? We are literally destroyed London." And he said, "We won the war because U.S. is going to support us. I don't know when, but we already won the war." So I told the ambassador Carter, "I don't know when we're going to go, but we're going to go." So I was totally convinced at that moment that we were coming. And going back to the adversity, when you get that, that convince, that faith, because that is, at the end, is faith, because faith is the believing the thing that you cannot see. You're believing in something that you're not seeing. Maybe you don't have facts, but you have faith that it's going to happen. So that's what happened to us. We really got a lot of abuse of faith.
Yeah, wow. You got to believe in yourself, I guess.
You had to believe in yourself, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
You had to believe in yourself. Definitive, yes.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think we're already at 45 minutes here, but so we have a lot of great content. And I'll also, if you want, I'll edit some clips, some shorter clips.
Okay.
And send them to you as well, and I'll post them on my YouTube channel and stuff for promotion before this full episode gets released.
Okay, no problem. You're gonna release it when?
Whenever is good for you. When would you prefer?
No. Maybe if we can do it in 2 weeks, that I'm gonna be to the event in New York, will be great. Better time frame. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can release like short, like 60-second clips up until
great.
to promote it.
You can release it, let's say September 16th or September 17th, 1 or 2 days before the event. So it will be great for the statement. I'm talking about that. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, I mean, it was a pleasure. I think we got talked a lot about a lot of good stuff here.
Okay, great.
I think kind of gave a little bit of a, extra to anything that someone who watched the first part might have, might still be wondering about, might still have a question or two. I think this was a great part 2 to that.
It was great. By the way, the reference of the CITGO sign is really cool, because you had to go back and look the guy. I was talking some time ago with the person that's helping with me, and she's from Boston, by the way. She's from Boston. And I was referring this episode, and I said, let me go to Google, and I found in Google is the guy that created this campaign. You will see it. The guy did a very, very wonderful campaign, putting the people together, So you have to go back and look at that guy. I don't remember his name, but that guy worked very close with us. Time not to get that sign off.
Yeah, I'm. I think is it Lenny Clark by any chance? I'm gonna.
I think it's that. I don't remember the name, but he was public. He was really public. He went to the Boston Chamber. He went to the Congress. He did a lot of noise with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna insert it into this video so that everyone who's watching can see. But I'm taking a look at it now.
Will be really cool. Will be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, this is an amazing story, and I think everyone here, majority it's a Boston demographic that watches.
I can tell you that people in Boston, I learned that they love that sign. They love it. So for us, it was like a cause, like a crusade.
Yeah.
You know, that sign is well.
It's just we don't like change, we really don't like change here in Boston. If something's here,
Not a change. This is a symbol of the city. The
yeah,
people tell me that when you're running the marathon, like 1 mile after going to the final, you see the sign. The people when they're getting married, they take photos there. So it's a symbol of the city.
yeah, exactly. Once something's become a part of the city, people really don't want to see it go. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
this guy is like the embodiment of Boston right here.
Yeah. So that is cool that you put it there because it will be cool, really cool.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
definitely
Well,
include
Sam.
that.
Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, have a good one, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Bye bye.